Welcome to Switch Comics. My name is Marco. Today I am joined by my good friend Sleepyn Comics. Been meaning to do something with him for a little while now, and here we are. Today we're going to be talking about the concept of should you be going for the highest grades possible? When is it okay to accept those lower grades, or everybody's a little different. Do you go for just whatever you can afford, or do you try to actually get those 9/8s? Does it actually matter? Before we hop into it, real quick, let me tell you about my giveaway. At 600 subscribers, I'm giving away 3 awesome comics to 3 lucky subscribers. All you got to do is leave a comment on this video, or any video actually, and you'll be entered into a chance to win one of those 3 awesome comics there I have. So let's go ahead and first introduce yourself.
Hi, thanks for having me on. I'm Sleepyn Comics. I have a YouTube channel as well. I started about 18 months ago, and for the first about 14 months, I focused a lot on comics that I've been collecting for years and years and years. And then in the last 2 months, I pivoted more for NFT comics. So I kind of cover the entire gamut. And but today we're talking about some comics that might be a little bit lower grade. So that'll be a great discussion. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, and again, if NFTs aren't your thing, which they're not mine, and I'll be the first one to admit it, but I still like watching your videos because it's just nice to learn a little bit about it. I know it's very confusing for, pretty much everybody. But even though, maybe not all NFTs are your thing, but learning a little bit about the comic ones makes me feel like, okay, I kind of have a grasp of what they're doing over there.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. And if anybody ever wants to contact me, has any questions, I'd be happy to answer any, but I'm still learning a lot too. I feel like I'm a novice. I feel like I'm a novice in a lot of things. So, but yeah, I welcome all questions. We can figure it out together.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and, well, I guess let me first ask you, when you're buying, because you have some incredible books, man.
Oh, thank you.
If you go back on his channel and look at all the just big banger books that you have, you got some real monsters in your collection. So with that in mind, when you're getting a big huge key, what is it that you're looking for grade wise? Like what is your ideal, or what do you think first, grade wise, price wise? How do you consider buying a big book?
I think when you're looking at the big books, it's a price thing. I mean, it's for example, like Incredible Hulk one, number one, it's just a tough book to find. And then it's just a price thing, man. I mean, if you're trying to get any type of, I mean, I would, I don't know all the prices, but if you're trying to get like a 9.0, I don't even know if a 9.0 exists of that book or whatever, but I mean, you're just going to be paying
Maybe.
hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, it might be, I'm not even sure, it might be $1 million, right? And so for me, that's what it is. I just wanted to get uh, some of these bigger books. A lot of them I got last year, or and mainly because I started getting really scared because the market was running away. As you know, in the last really 2 years, the market has really. I mean, I think that we've always said, year after year, they always say, "Oh, these books are going," but really, I think in the last 2 years, they've just really exploded. And so, of course, just like a lot of collectors, I was like, "Hey, I really want to own some of these big books," and so I just got super scared that they were gonna run out of my range, and so you know, found a lot of them, like Incredible Hulk one, Amazing Fantasy 15, X-Men one, etc. And I just basically bought the lowest grade because that's all I could afford. But I was picky about what it looked like. So
Yeah.
um, the Incredible Hulk number one is amazing looking. Like there's no way. I think the cover is detached. That's why it's a 1.8, I believe. But I mean, it looks great, presents great, and that's really what you're looking for, I think, in some of those lower grades. But it's just a price thing for me. Of course, I'd want like a 5.0 of it. But I mean, some of those books. I mean, Amazing Fantasy 15 5.0. I have no clue how much it is, but maybe it's $100,000, 200. I don't even know, but it's going to be a lot of money.
Oh yeah, it's definitely up there. Um, but yeah, so if you want to go ahead and, because I definitely understand that fear of missing out. There's one book that I really want to pick up now, because it's just one of those things, like I feel he's coming, and if he does and I don't get this book, I may never get the book, and because I really want Spotlight 5. I'm a big
Yeah.
big Ghost Rider guy.
And there was that
And
huge sale about what, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, and it like broke all the records, and it really, pulled all those books up. I think they
oh yeah,
are getting out of reach. I think it was like two hundred
he's
eighty
definitely on
thousand or
his
something like
way.
that. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
And again, if I could get a 3.0, I'd be
right.
super happy.
Yeah,
I just want that book so bad.
yeah, yeah. No, that's a great book. I think we all want that book. I don't own that book. I'd like to own that
Ah, you got much bigger books. You're fine.
book.
Which, speaking of, you got some books to show off. Let's go ahead and start off with one.
So I think you were talking about when do you buy a higher grade, lower grade, but and of course, like I said, for these big grails, they're just so expensive. But the example that I have here, and by the way, we haven't told each other what we're showing, so it's kind
Yeah.
of a surprise for each other. Is a book you could buy in higher grade, but and it is Silver Surfer. I'm a big Silver Surfer fan. Silver Surfer #2, and this is a really quite a low grade. It's got all kinds of issues on the side here. I know it's difficult, so I won't even try and put it up to the camera. But the reason why is because I am trying to collect. I have this, I don't know if I'm ever going to do it to like literally collect all, because Silver Surfer is my favorite character, to literally collect
Yeah.
all of the comics, all of them.
Oh, so
Which,
not just the entire first run, but just every run.
yeah, now I would say maybe not all the variants because that is like way absurd.
Yeah.
So I just, when I find ones, and obviously some are more rare than others, and I'm okay. I just have been accumulating them over time. And I do have some good ones. But, sometimes I think just to have them and, I'll put them up on my wall, especially I do have Silver Surfer one of this run, for example.
Nice, nice.
And, but yeah, it's okay. I mean, it presents okay. You don't always, I think I might have got this for like $20 or something like that. And
There you
so
go.
it's, you don't always have to, you really don't. And this isn't necessarily a key. So I think that's another reason why you don't necessarily have to have, the 9.8 or whatever.
Yeah. Do you have the 3 and 4?
Yes,
There you
I
go.
have. Yes, I do have 3 and 4. And then the next couple are not as expensive. And the next big one that's expensive, I think, is like 14. I can't remember. It's the one with Spider-Man on it. It was the first, it's he and
Yeah.
Spider-Man on the cover. Maybe it's 12. I can't remember. But that's
Yeah.
and that's it's not super expensive, but it's expensive.
I can't remember. Yeah, well, I know the comic you're talking about. I can't remember the number it is though. But yeah, 3 and 4. I mean, I'd like any of them, but 3 and 4 are like two that are big on my wish list that I would really like to
Yeah.
get.
For the
It
people, 3 is the first appearance of Mephisto, who is like rumored to be the bad guy in every single MCU movie.
Yeah,
And
just anything possible.
right. And then Silver Surfer 4 is the one with Thor
Yeah.
and Silver Surfer fighting on the Rainbow Bridge. And so that's kind of an iconic cover.
Yeah, I'm a big Thor guy, so
Yeah,
that's
it's literally it's top 5 favorite cover. I always pick different favorite covers, but that's definitely a top 5 for me.
yeah.
And speaking of low grades, like I have a 4.5 of that, and I like 4.5. I like that grade. But of all the ones, I actually considered buying a higher grade of that. It's just too expensive because that cover is so amazing with all the colors and everything.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, I think it definitely does depend on the cover itself because, especially if the colors are just beautiful, then you want those there, and it definitely is an interesting thing as you get into it because not every, like I said, I'd love to get a Spotlight 530, but not every 30 looks the same. There's different things going on.
You have to, look at, if it's on eBay, you gotta like blow it up as much as possible. Ask for more pictures. No, I'm serious. And
No,
obviously,
I
if you're
know.
in a local comic shop, try and. So I don't have the best eyes, so like if I don't have my glasses, it could be a problem.
Yeah, whenever I'm looking at a book, I got the thing right up here, and I'm just like, what's wrong with it? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I'm gonna show off one now. So this is one of my personal grails. It's a book that I've wanted for a while, and I finally picked it up. What did I sell off to get this thing? Oh yeah, I sold off my Invincible Iron Man 9 first
Oh,
reread. I
yeah.
got that graded at a 9.8,
Wow,
and
amazing.
yeah, and which I love that book, and
That's the one with the black cover, right? The
yeah,
first. Yeah, that's a rough one to get 9.8 too.
yeah, and so when it came back at 9.8, I was ecstatic. I was so happy, but then the longer I thought about it, and because literally, it's about a 50% drop off when you go from 9.8 to 9.6, and price wise, and it's just like I could probably get that book, um, at a lower grade, even if it's just a 9.6, and sell this and get something else. And that's what I ended up doing. I still haven't picked up a new number 9 yet, but I was more focused on what something I've wanted for way longer. And I got a NYX number 3, and I decided I definitely was really put a lot of thought into what grade I wanted to get, because I got the 9.0, and I could have got maybe like a 9.4. And I was just thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? When there's a book, because I have like different categories when I'm buying a book. I have 100% that's my personal collection, or I have, it's like, yeah, I'm really interested in this book. I really like it, but if it ever hits a certain price, it's out the door. Kind of like with the Invincible Iron Man 9, it was just, I had maybe $200 invested in that book, and I sold it for 850, and I was like,
Amazing.
that's
Great
a,
work.
that's a good markup. I gotta take it. But for me, this book was 100% personal collection. I love X-23, and I think it's just such a beautiful cover, and it's a book you put up on your wall, and there's certain ones that just pop and catch people's eye, and it's like, oh yeah, that book right there. Um, and so when I thought about it more and more, I was like, really, the price doesn't, like, the value of it doesn't really matter, because technically, if it's going to stay in my collection, it's kind of worthless. As far monetarily, I'm never going to get money back from this. So if I think of it in that regard, then I should just get a book that is beautiful and it's going to look hanging up. And honestly, a 9.0 is a gorgeous book. I mean, from if you're standing there, a couple feet away from it, you can't see anything wrong with it.
I mean, my people laugh at me, but my wall looks good on the wall. And once again, maybe my eyes are not very good. It's 4.5. That's why I tell people like I'm not afraid of the 4.5. But I mean, for modern books, I mean, 2 feet away, you're going to tell me the difference between a 9.2 and a 9.6, even. I mean, even
Yeah.
a 9.8.
I
I
mean,
mean, it's nine. It's a
even go to an
nine.
A5.
Yeah, and it's always weird. Like I have an 8.5 in this one. Of course, you send it in. You think I actually thought it was a 9.8. No lie, but it had a lot of issues on the back. I mean, you don't
Yeah,
realize,
yeah.
but the front, I'm just telling you, it looks like a 9.8. So you put it up on your wall, you're not going to tell it. So I
Oh
think
yeah.
what you said is 100% right. 100% right.
Yeah, and it's again, I mean, if I'm never gonna sell it, then why does it matter what it's worth? It's like it's just gonna go up on my wall, and I get to look at it every day. So a 9.0 was the right choice for me, and luckily I had a buddy that actually sold it to me locally, so I
Oh,
got
that's great.
a good price on it, and I was like, I'm more than happy with this. So
I don't have that book. That's on my list. It's on the list.
yeah, it is. It is. Was a big deciding factor on whether I wanted to. That's a whole different conversation of when to move books and all that funness. Some people aren't good at it. Some people can't do
That,
it.
that is an example of a book, just like, reason why I just finally, whatever I kind of call, put my foot down and went and got these other books. That's a book that I've been, wanting to buy for like year after year. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. And it just has ran
Oh yeah.
and it's continuing to run. It's a monster. That is a monster of a book.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate. Like I said, I've started collecting the last little over a year, and man, what a terrible time to get into comics.
Yes and no, right? I think there's, as we always said, there's ones that are coming out right now that, 3, 4, 5 years ago, they're gonna be good ones.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. But it's just it feels unfortunate. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I picked that up." You're not everybody,
I
but
know, I
all these
know,
people's like, "Oh, I picked it up years ago for $20." Like, oh,
I know,
my
I
wallet's so
know,
sad.
I know.
But
It's never ending.
Yeah. What else you got for me here?
Okay, next one that I got because once again, it's the one I really, really wanted is Amazing Spider-Man number 15.
Sweet.
So early ASM, very hard to get. And this one is, of course, the first appearance of Kraven the Hunter, who I think is getting a movie, something like that, rumored next year, year after. I can't
I
remember.
don't know. Everything's rumored at this point. I don't know.
So, but yeah, so this book, it's looks really good.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, that thing's gorgeous.
if I had to grade it off the cover, once again, I'd say it might actually be a 5, but I'd give it a 4.5. The problem is there's a page ripped out of it.
Ah.
So yeah, I paid, what did I pay for this thing? I want to say I paid like $250 for it or something like that, which is a really, really good price because I think it would, obviously grade out, well, depending on how they decide to grade it, right? But, like, oh, 0.5 or whatever it might be. Um, but I'll probably never get it graded. And like I said, you put up on the wall, I have these, kind of fake slabs, if you want to
Are
call them.
those the magnetic ones?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
these are
pretty
the
cool.
Pro. I can't remember what they are. Anyways, but yeah, so I bought a couple of these. I put them in there. I put them up on the wall. They look great, and yeah. So I'll never. I mean, I may grade it, but once again, sometimes you just gotta go after these big time books and be okay with some defect.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
for
know
sure.
some people don't like incomplete books. I'm
Yeah,
okay with
well,
it.
here's the thing about that. Do you? What's the kind of the price point in which you're like, yeah, that's too expensive for me to read?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's anything getting over $100. I think you got to be careful. I don't want
Yeah.
but and then that's also even when it gets over 100, $200 for me. That's the do you really really want it range because now you're getting into spendy books. Now comic books have just gone mad, right? I
Yeah.
was talking to I can't remember who his name was, but it's almost like I remember when a book got to $100, especially a raw one. I mean, hmm, that was like big time. You know what I mean? And now it feels like I don't know. It just feels like that's not as big time as it used to be. You
Oh
know?
no. For me, $100 book is like, yeah, I guess that's okay. It almost starts to feel like, you know.
Yeah, yeah. No.
Um,
All right. What's your next one?
I did want to say,
Oh yeah,
um, yeah, it's funny to me because you have again, and I'm a baby, you know, I'm fresh in the game, and I see these much older collectors, people that have been doing it for longer than I've been born, you know. And there was a channel I was watching, um, Two Geeks Talking. They're a cool
yeah.
bunch, and they one of them has a Hulk 181, and he's just so casually, you know, just
Oh,
flipping through it, and he's like, I gotta sniff it, and all this. Like, oh my god, you're making me so nervous. It's not my book, but it's still, it's like I can't believe it. You know, I can't see it with my own eyes.
we
It's,
always see those people on Instagram, and once again, I don't know if it's Photoshop, but they have like, and I'm not even exaggerating, like 20 Hulk 181s, just like laid out on like a bed
yeah,
or something like that. It's like unreal, like ungraded. So you're like, you don't. I mean, at least they're bagged and boarded, right? But you don't know what they. I mean, I'm sure they're in pretty good shape. I mean, they're looking pretty good. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
like 20 of them, you're just like, oh my lord! Like, when did they start collecting, and why did they? They must love Wolverine. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. That again, that's probably a book I'll never get around to getting, but maybe one day we'll see. But definitely not
That's
anytime
one that's
soon.
crazy. That one does not stop, and there's a lot of them out there. That is there's a
Yeah.
lot, but that one every minute you'd think it would slow down. Nope,
No.
just keeps on, just like you know.
Well, just wait until we get Wolverine in the
Oh,
MCU,
I
man.
know, I
That thing's
know.
gonna be ridiculous.
I have a 6.0,
Yeah.
and it was I think it was $2,000 when I bought it years ago. So it was an
Yeah.
expensive book. Like I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
all right, I'm going in for this because it's Hulk 181, and at one point you're gonna have to bite the bullet to get on the train here. And I was like, well, this will probably not go much beyond this, but I'll have it in my collection, and I'm just happy to have it. And I think it might be worth $6,000 now or
Oh, you're
something
probably
more.
6'7". I'd
Yeah,
probably guess.
craziness, madness.
All right, so I want to go ahead and move on to my second book here, and I have big. This is my biggest book actually, and it's one of those things. Again, could talk about how we were talking about FOMO, and how sometimes you just have to get on. It doesn't matter what grade you're getting on, you just have to get it before it's going to be too late. So I had to pick me up
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man 50, got it at a 5.0. Again, I got lucky on this one. I had a different buddy sell me this for a very reasonable price. And man, especially in and now, if you know what's going on, and just I'm so happy that I did pick up this book when I did, because I feel like soon, like we're right there, and it's gonna start climbing up.
Oh, and the cover is so unbelievable. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
one of the best covers of all time.
it's funny because you know it's typically like a general rule of thumb. It's best when you have first appearance with first cover appearance. Uh, but sometimes you break the rule when you just have just a different iconic cover, and it's like, well, okay, I guess we don't need the first appearance on the cover here, first cover appearance. I mean, it's like it's just its whole other beast, and I think really definitely helps add to the value of the book.
For
Um,
sure.
while also being first Kingpin,
I know.
um, and yeah, I just picked this thing up not too terribly long ago, and again, I mean, at 5.0 was kind of also like the upper limits of what I was able to pay for it. I mean, because this book, just gets
It's an
bigger and
expensive
bigger.
book. Okay, so here's proof that to anybody who's watching that we actually didn't tell each other what the books are because the book that I chose was. So I'll skip it. I'll just tell you the defect on this one. The defect is there is no back cover.
Gotcha.
So I
That's
got it
pretty
for a great
good.
price. But I'll put it over here. I actually picked four books. He told me three, but I picked four. So it's good that I picked four because it's
Hey,
so
there we
funny that
go.
we picked the same exact book. But this is
And
such an awesome book, man.
it's funny. Was it going to be the next book?
Yeah, it was gonna be the next book.
That's
That's
great.
so funny. When you brought, I was like, oh, good thing I have another one.
I hope the last one's safe. I have to go scramble and get
All
something
right.
else real
Well,
quick.
maybe. All right. So here's my last one, which
Okay,
is
good. Oh man, what a monster!
so this is Fantastic Four 48, first appearance of the Silver Surfer and cameo of Galactus
Yeah,
and iconic cover.
man.
Uh
My
so
my boss, I forget what grade it's at now, but he has a copy of that signed by Stan Lee.
oh my god.
That's his big baby. Yeah.
Yeah. It's madness. Madness.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I mean it's so this one is I got it years ago because now it's madness, right? But I had to
Pricey.
get it because it was I'm a Silver Surfer fan, first appearance of Silver Surfer, so it's that was one of my first ones I went after because I knew that. I mean, that was just that's once again gonna pay for it, doesn't matter, but within reason, right? But I think I still got it for like what's that, $800 or something like that, which was
Oh,
once again very spendy. But now I think the book is two, three, $4,000 maybe.
I'm not
Um,
sure. Yeah, I know it's definitely up there.
I think you'd think that there would be it actually be more expensive, but there's actually quite a few of them. There's a
Yeah.
lot of 48, so that's fantastic. That's fantastic for 48. And then the next one is the one with Galactus on the cover. If anybody doesn't know, 49, which is also an iconic cover, probably even more of an iconic cover. And that's the first appearance of Galactus. And I found that one very low grade in a local comic shop, which they sold to me for $125,
Oh my goodness.
which it was in. Okay, I thought the cover was detached.
Yeah.
I was scared to get it out of the bag,
Yeah.
and so I was like, this is probably a point. This is probably a point five, but $125. I found it in a local comic shop. It's fine. I'll pay the $125. It's a fun and it looks good. The cover, it looked as good as this. Needed a press, and so then I had it pressed and sent it to CGC. And it came back a 4.5,
Oh.
which is just mind-boggling to me. And it's that cover is hanging on by a thread. The top staple is
Huh.
detached 100%, and the bottom one is like about to be detached. So I sent it to like this professional like person to press it because I wasn't going to press it and then rip the cover off. Like,
Oh yeah.
I was, super scared. And yeah, so 4.5 for that one. And he cleaned it. Oh, it looks amazing. He did a great job when it was. But
That's
that's another
awesome,
one
man.
where I think sometimes, how many times are you going to see? I mean, I've never seen at a con and stuff, right? But I mean, like I've never seen a raw, completely beat up to hell Fantastic Four, 48, 49, 50, any of those, low Fantastic Fours in a local comic shop for like, $100.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'd buy 10.
Yeah. And the thing is that local comic shop, be careful what I say, but they don't use eBay or anything like that for pricing. They use
Yeah.
like the old school Overstreet guide.
Overstreet. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of funny because I have a few different shops that I work at, or not work at. I have one that I work at, and then there's a few shops here locally, and everybody's a little different on their approach, and maybe you have this really old school guy that he's like, well, eBay, what's that? It's Overstreet. Overstreet's where you get your prices, and I just it's so funny to think just now how, especially in the past couple years, how crazy fast the market just is constantly adjusting.
Yeah, it's
And you can't even necessarily, you could have looked at a price on eBay yesterday and it doesn't mean it's right today.
and it's obviously there's huge spec cycles going on using the internet, all these YouTube channels and other things, and then it's reflected, and then like
Dreaded
the different no, I mean, but in the different apps are so, I mean,
No,
they're
I
sending
understand.
alerts. Once again, I'm not a guy who, I don't really care, love it or hate it. It doesn't matter to me, right? It's just the way it is.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's yeah, it's there's books that go way up and then come down, and it's just madness. It's all madness. I just like to, I don't really try and get too angry about it all. It's just we're just
Oh yeah.
part of the mix, right?
Yeah, there's definitely some people that will get upset when they miss out on a book and they just try to take it out on other people. And like, I meant to say this earlier when we were talking about Silver Surfer. I was very, very close. I was kind of, how you're like window shopping and you're like, let me figure out which copy I want to get exactly. I was in that mode on Silver Surfer 3 right before it
Yeah.
recently jumped up with all the WandaVision stuff.
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
I just it was just a book that I wanted, and I was like, which one, and then suddenly they were all double the price.
They've come back down some,
Yeah,
but yeah, no, WandaVision took it to a new level. And then there's of course obviously more speculation on that for the new Spider-Man movie coming out, and I don't know. It'll never
yeah.
end. You just
Oh yeah,
the
for
thing
sure.
that I remember um where okay, I could be wrong here. So the last Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Far From Home, the one where they're in Europe or
Yeah.
whatever, and um there's a line in there where Samuel Jackson and Nick Fury, whatever, says, what did you find in my closet? And they said, we went through your closet and we found a surfboard. Is that all that's in there? Or there's a line like that. It's a funny line because I heard it and I like, jumped out of my seat and started running around the theater. But because, there could have been a lot of things in the guy's closet. Why did they have him say he had a surfboard in there? And so I was like super pumped and I'm like, oh, wow. But apparently I was the only, and I was like, I'm going to get back. And my, Fantastic 448 is going to be triple in price, but I guess I was the only one that heard that line. Maybe I'm making it up in my own brain now.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing that or ever hearing anybody talk about it.
It's
So I
when,
definitely.
God, now we got to look. All right. Someone's got to look and put it in the comments if I'm gone mad, because maybe I have gone mad. But I want to say it's when, it's like the final act in the end when they're fighting, Mysterio the last time. And then
Yeah.
they're like up in this building, he and Maria Hill,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, and he's like talking to them, like, he's talking through his like earpiece and he says that, gosh, I hope I'm not making this up. He's going to be really embarrassed. Cut.
No, no, we're keeping it in.
Now I
I'm
want to
gonna
go
zoom
find it.
in on you really hard.
You got to edit it in if you can find it on or you
Yeah,
can maybe
I'll
it
look
does
for
make
it.
it
I'll
in.
look for it.
Okay. Now I'm going to look for
Now,
it afterwards too because I look like an idiot.
Alrighty,
I
so
do remember
now
in the theater though. I remember in the theater, I was like, "Whoa, did he just say, what I thought he said?"
maybe you had a special edition in your theater.
Oh man, oh god, this is gonna be so embarrassing.
Alrighty, so now I have my last book to show off. This is my lowest grade of anything anything I have graded. It's a 3.0, and I want you to check out the colors on this thing, man. Bam.
Ah,
That thing is
amazing!
gorgeous.
What a great book.
Now, granted, I will say the back is kind of messed up.
That's where you
And
want it messed up though.
yeah, and again, I don't mind. This is a book that I contemplated heavily getting before I even collected comics. I was like, it's a road I don't want to go down. I'm just focused on action figures. But I was like, I'm a big Boba Fett fan, and I was like, 68 and 42. I might just have to get those and just those. And I wish I did get them years ago. They would have been a lot cheaper. But this one came by the shop, and we got it in raw, and then we had it cleaned and pressed and everything, and it was
Wow, it
still
looks really good.
yeah. And then I bought it and I sent it off, and I was expecting a little higher. I'm not gonna lie. Again, not upset that it came in lower because it doesn't really matter. It's going on my wall. It's not going anywhere. But just how beautiful it looks. I was like,
Amazing.
yeah,
I
it's
like the
probably
yellows.
probably a 4 at least.
I would, yeah. What's the matter?
But
Is the back just jacked up or what's
it had like some water damage or stuff. I don't know how well
mm,
it's gonna show on camera. Probably not
yeah.
well at all. But
Is interior just jacked? Are there pages like ripped in the something? I don't even know,
yeah,
man.
because even despite it getting cleaned and pressed, like I can sit here and look at some crazy ripples
Oh,
and dents and
so
stuff
it
going
had
through it.
some, yeah.
Yeah, because unfortunately sometimes it's just too messed up to get flat ever again.
Well, yeah, they have to. I mean, you can send it over to Jerry. I'm sure he could fix it. I don't know if that's Jerry the Jitterbugs channel. He like fixes everything. But
I mean, this thing, I should have took pictures of it when we first got it because it was ugly looking. It was really rough.
oh, so they
So
fixed it up nicely.
yeah, it's definitely been improved. It's definitely been
And
improved. But
yellow is a color that can be cleaned. I found that.
yeah,
You know, have you ever cleaned any books? Are you into that cleaning, pressing yourself, or no?
I just got a press.
Nice,
I'm
nice.
setting up the area. I'm getting some cleaning supplies and
Mhm.
tools, and so I'm getting ready to start into it. It's just one of those things. I thought about it, and I was like, I'm spending $10 a book getting pressed, and then if I need them clean, it's another 15, and it's gonna pay for itself. I just
The
gotta
biggest thing that I
get it
found,
rolling.
yeah, 100%. And the biggest thing that I found is you can press them again.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Pressing them multiple, and when you send it, I don't know, I'm guessing, but when you send it to a presser, they're pressing it one time. They're not going to be in there pressing it 14 times to try to, make it, they're going to do what they're supposed to do, but they're not necessarily going to press it, 4 or 5 times, or
yeah,
maybe use a flat iron on, these little, it's because it's your book. You're going to be like, like I find myself, working hard on those books.
yeah. Yeah, no, and like I got a great dude, that does my stuff now,
Okay.
but even and he's really thoughtful. Sometimes if the book takes 30 minutes, it takes 30 minutes. If it
Oh,
takes
wow.
several
Okay. So
days, it
that's
takes
great.
several
That's really
days.
good. That's great.
So and he's kind of told me before. He's like, oh my god, this thing was driving me crazy, and it's like I appreciate it, man. But even with that knowledge, I was just thinking about it, and like because right now I think 30 books sitting at CGC and 12 at CBCS, and then plus all the ones I've already got graded and stuff, and it's just like yeah, if I had just pressed all those myself, then I could have saved a lot of money.
Yeah, it does. It is a numbers game, and you just like, for example, I rarely, if ever, I've never, in fact, ever paid for the Express at CGC, just because all the books that I generally send there um, are only going to accrue in value in my mind with more time. So
Yeah,
if they're there another 2 or 3 months, I feel like they're just going to be worth more. I'm not a guy who tries to time it, like, oh, WandaVision's coming out, so I better, get these X-Men 4s there as fast as possible and get them graded because I'm going to sell them and try and sell them during one. It's never going to, I never have been like that. So I just like, wow, this is a great book. Either I want to keep it or I am gonna try and sell it, and obviously grading it would help. And so, but it's one that should go up in value and continue to go up in value. So that's for me. I've never been that, but now it's so ridiculous. I mean, I sent my last batch in, and I'm not even lying. I think I sent it in May.
Yeah.
It might have been April, and I haven't got it back yet.
Oh yeah, I stopped sending
25
stuff.
books, 25 books to CGC, and it's just it's painful. I mean, I'm getting
Yeah.
ready. I've been getting ready for the last 2 months to send another batch in, and I honestly am like, I always send in 25 books. I try and send in 25 books, and I've done the pre-screen before, but I don't because
Yeah.
I always calculate it. If it comes in a grade or two less, will I still be able to sell it and make money? Or otherwise, I don't even sell it. So like, if there's a book that like, if it were to come back a 9.6, I would lose money. I don't send that. So I'm
Yeah.
okay if it's a 9.6. 9.4 would make me a little bit mad, but I always expect, the ones I think to be 9.8, 9.6 because I've had had luck on a lot of it. So
Yeah, it's hard, man, and I'm trying to like get better at learning how to grade a book and figure out what it's gonna come back because when you got money on the line, it's pretty important to know
yeah,
what
that
you're
9.6, 9.8 for the
what you're
moderns is
doing.
just bonkers. It's just bonkers the
Oh yeah.
difference. And so I like for example, one Spider-Man 4, First Appearance of Silk. So that's a book for me that has always been sitting right on the edge because, well, now it's gone up in value, but for years and years and years, it sat around 9.8, sat around, don't quote me, but like 180 bucks. And
Yeah.
9.6 was far less. That was under $100. So then I had I have like three or four of those, and all of them are borderline 9.8s. Like could
Yeah.
be 9.8s, but also could be a 9.6, could be a 9.4. Or you where sometimes you have a book and you're like, oh my god, I swear I would bet money this is a 9.8. You know what I mean? They're not like that. They're close. Depends on the grader I get, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
so I
for
was thinking
sure.
if I send this thing in, it comes back a 9.4, 9.6. Uh, you know, I'm not going to be able to make because I think they cost me like 40 or 50 bucks each, and then you add $25. Now I get $75. If it's 9.6, I can only sell the thing for 90 bucks. So I've held them all, thinking that maybe they'll go up. And now I think a 9.8 of that is like maybe 300 or something like that. So maybe now is the time I could at least send some of
Give
those
it a
in.
shot. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're really just playing that game.
Yeah. Do you do strictly CGC?
I have strictly done. Oh no, that's not true. I did send some books to CBCS because I had it was a signing and the only representative there was um, CBCS. But I would have no problem.
Yeah.
I've got that membership I use every year. I get the one where they give you a credit of 150 bucks. I just do it year
Yeah.
after year, and so that's what I've always done. But yeah, I'd be open to using CBCS. In fact, I really like their new cases a lot. I think they're
They
great.
are really nice. Yeah. I was doing CGC. I haven't sent anything to CGC since April. I then have sent in a
Did you
new
get your books
batch.
back from April?
No,
Yeah, it's
I
so
don't have my stuff from
ridiculous.
earlier from that. Um,
It's so ridiculous, man.
yeah, and that's the thing, man. It's like I wish I had known back then. I would have because my last batch that I sent back to CBCS took 4 weeks. Well, now granted, I did the 2 day express, so it was about $40 a book. It's a little bit more, but 4 weeks,
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Um, I do have another batch I sent off there, and it's been maybe a week, I think, about that. So hopefully, which if it takes a little bit longer, if it's 5 weeks this time, that's fine. I don't care. I'm not waiting 9 months. That's insane. Just absolutely insane. And I started looking. Have you looked at EGS?
No, I mean I know what they are. They make the custom. Yeah, no, yeah, no, I know what they are. I've never used them.
I just recently discovered them, and I might make a whole separate video about them. But man, because it's funny. It's funny to me. It
They're
seems
the
like
ones with the cool labels, right? The cool custom.
yeah.
Really
Um,
cool.
Even if you get like a basic label, I think they have the best looking label in the game. I
The one thing, okay, now correct me if I'm wrong, but they have like a weird hinge on top, right? Like that's what I was not into. But someone said they were getting new cases. So if they get new cases and they have that cool label, I mean
yeah,
they're
because
gonna be rolling.
it's really neat. You can create. I don't know the limits of possibilities here, but you can work with them to create custom labels
Oh
of
wow, I
like your
didn't
own
know that.
design.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if you have a surfer book that you want, I don't know, a cool surfboard going through, or Thor with Mjolnir, or if you getting a Silver Surfer 4, or maybe you want Surfer versus
Right, that'd be so
Thor in your
sweet.
label. It's like, oh my god, that changes up so much, and I haven't feel like I've heard anybody talk about them.
No,
Um,
they're. I know they match. They somehow match the colors to the
yeah,
book a lot of times. So that's like super cool.
yeah, I've seen some gorgeous stuff, and I'm really thinking about next time I send off some books, maybe just like send a couple or something as a little trial to EGS, and just checking out and seeing what the quality is and stuff. Because
Isn't
I've
Torpedo
really,
Comics coming out with like their own thing now too? I think there's a couple other
I
people
don't
that are coming out with
know.
grading companies because I think they just realized that CGC the monster is just having issues. So can they get in there? Can they can
Yeah,
they try to make some waves in there?
well,
I'm sure there's big
it's
money in it.
it's funny to me because I feel like the main thing people talk about with CGC is, oh, their label looks better than CBCS, which I agree, but I don't think it looks that much better. Like, it's like, yeah, I guess it's better. But if that's what people are really concerned about, EGS has everyone else beat, like, by a long shot. Their labels are, like I said, even their basic labels are gorgeous. Um, so I don't know. I might, like I said, I'll probably do a different video, really going in depth on that. And
Especially for like these books that I don't, some of the books that we talked about, right? Like, well, you don't care necessarily what the grade is. You know it's a low grade, but to get it
yeah,
encapsulated with a cool label and you're just gonna put
yeah,
on your wall, that probably makes sense. I don't know
yeah.
what their pricing is, but
I looked at it and it's pretty reasonable. I can't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head. I do know for like the custom labels and stuff, though, it's just an additional $10.
okay.
Like, you can't beat that. I think that's about the same price as doing the custom labels at CGC, and that's like,
I do like the
you have to
custom
pick from
labels
it.
at CGC.
They are good. Don't get me wrong, but this is like limited options, and it's like that's insane. That's crazy to
Yeah,
me, and
no,
you can change the color schemes and everything. It's, oh my god.
yeah, no, it's I just got the I have a Venom 3, the first Knoll, and
Yeah.
it has Knoll a Knoll uh custom label on it, and so honestly, that was one of the reasons why I bought
Oh yeah.
that. I
That's a
bought
sick label, man.
it's a sick label with this in that book, and I just thought it can't be beat, so I had to.
I guess reeling back into the main topic, because I just recently picked up a Venom 3 as well. One came in through the shop and it was a 9/8 signed by Donny Cates. And I was like, well, I guess I'm spending this money today. Like, wasn't expecting it, but here I am. But with that
Is it
being
a
said,
first print or third
yeah,
print?
first
First
print,
print,
yeah.
which is a great cover.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's funny. Again, it was one of those things that kind of in the back of my mind. I was like, yeah, I should probably get that cover at some point, and it just showed up. And I've been wanting a Donny Cates signature, so it just all came together.
That I know I've had a lot of that, many of those books, and that book is a weird book for 9/8 because it's got this weird defect that I've seen so many times on the spine, kind of the lower left spine,
Hmm.
and they definitely don't. That will not be a 9/8. It's some sort of printing defect or something like that because I've seen it so many times. It's almost like a cut through the
Hmm.
and
Yeah, there's certain books that's like that. There was I don't know if you remember. I don't remember the issue number, but it was an Alex Ross cover of the Marvels that was Silver Surfer, and like there was fire everywhere. And they
yeah,
had
yeah.
all these cool reflections.
I think it's like
Uh,
Marvel's 2, I want to say, but I can't
yeah,
remember. Yeah.
something like that. And it was a thank you variant, I think, or one per store or something. And we got it in, and it had this cut in the maybe top right ish of the corner. I can't remember exactly. And so we filed for a damage replacement, and we got it another one come in, and it had the same thing there. And
Oh,
then
so it was a printer defect. Interesting.
that's just
Production
how they,
defect, whatever you
yeah,
want to call it. Yeah.
that's how they came apparently. So it is interesting when you have a book that's like that, or Spider-Man 361
That
notoriously
was
on
the two.
the
I
two things
my
on the
my
back. Yeah,
Spider-Man 361 has the two cuts. And although there's some that don't have it.
yeah, yeah, some of them, but I'd say more often than not, I do see them on there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another book I sent in to CGC. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get this back for the Carnage movie, and I could sell it if I wanted to. But nope.
Yeah, that's a book I paid a little bit more than I should have. I got a 9.4, and I didn't pay too much, but it's definitely worth less than what I paid for it at this point. It's like it's kind of screwed up.
I think they. No, I was gonna say something once again. Probably not accurate. I probably said way too many inaccuracies on your channel. I apologize.
That's fine. We're not here to necessarily be 100% right. Just we're out here trying our best. I did want to ask you about modern books though, and because I feel like there's a lot of people that do or are of the mindset it's like, oh yeah, that book came out in the 60s, 50, that's fine. However, they're a lot less lenient on these modern books, like I was talking about Venom 3. Is if that was a book that, I know you have a bunch of copies, but let's just say you didn't and you wanted to buy a copy, is there a room or a potential outcome where you're like, you know what, I will get a 9.6?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It just depends on the character too and the price. But
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm a huge Noel fan, huge Venom fan. So that one I would really try to get a 9.8 if I could.
Gotcha.
And they're reasonable. I mean, they're, don't quote me, but I want to say like a 9.8 might be 350 or something like that for the first print. And then there's the third print, which is him on the cover.
Oh yeah, that's the big one.
And that one is more. That one might be 500, 600, and 9.8. And then
Yeah,
there's
I think
the
it's about 5. Yeah.
and then there's the 1 in 25 of the first print, which is actually the most rare of all of those, I believe. And
Should should be. I know that the third print has a pretty low print run, but I think the 1 in 25 is still technically rare.
yeah, and that one, I actually have that one in a 9.8 signed by Mr. Cates too.
Nice, nice.
So yeah, I got some. I think I got it for 350 or something like that. I don't know why they were
Nice.
selling it for 350, but pretty sure I got that one for 350. But I was like, oh, I gotta grab this one. And I mean, Noel at that point, people were excited about him, but I don't think they knew that he was going to have, they didn't know what was going to become of him and he was going to have
Oh
his
yeah, I
own
mean they took it was about 2 years to ramp up,
King of Black.
into the full King of Black event. So
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's a good book. I think that's a big book. I think that's a book. If
oh yeah,
if people like it and people like Venom, I think that's a book that you should grab as a Venom 3 too. I think that's great.
definitely one of the bigger modern keys to
I
have in your
think so.
collection.
I think so.
But yeah, because I was kind of thinking about I want to pick up a oh crap, what is it? Vader, is it 7? Is first Doctor Aphra?
4, 3 or 4, I thought it was, but I could
Maybe
be
it's
wrong.
3 then. I can't remember the number right now. Anyway, I want one of those, and again, I'm just sitting there looking. It's like, do I really want to pay double
Yeah.
for a 9.8?
Well, here's a
I could
perfect
maybe just get
example
a
of one where
9.6.
I'm, one of my top 5 favorite characters is Admiral Thrawn, Star Wars.
Yeah.
And so I have, so his first appearance, once again, is at CGC. I really feel like it's a 9.8, but we'll see what they say, right? It's
That'd
not
be
quite
awesome,
9.6,
man.
but I got that for like $1, not even lying.
If
Because I bought it,
it comes back a
I
4, you'll
know.
be.
So
I mean, you'll be doing
how it's
good.
the heir to the empire. So that entire run, I bought it bundled, and I think the
Oh
bundle
my
was like,
god.
I think the bundle was like, I don't think it was $10. I think it was like 8.99 or something like. It was
Oh my
ridiculous.
goodness, that's crazy.
Anyway, okay, so yeah, it's that bundle. But then he has this first solo series Thrawn, and then there's the
Hmm.
1 in 50, which is like ridiculously hard to find.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
It's like Thrawn, it's this blue face, it's the Matina cover. It's
Gotcha.
relatively rare. Always has been very expensive, and so I got a 9.6 of it. So
Nice.
the 9, and it has a sketch of Matina signed it and put a sketch of Darth Vader on it. So yeah, so I was like, I'll take the 9.6. Of course, you want the 9.8, and then of course, as soon as I actually physically got it, I was like, can I resubmit this? Because this one might be actually worth it to resubmit to try and get a
Yeah.
9.8. But there's two clear defects on the spine, and so I'm like, you just gotta just be happy.
It is what it is sometimes. Yeah, it's I have the all new Ghost Rider 1 in 25, and I don't know if you know how hard that book is to find.
Is that
It's
okay? So now this is the Robbie Reyes, right?
Yeah, Robbie Reyes.
Okay, and is it the one where he's swirling? It's a Tradmore cover, right?
No, no, no. This is a Smith cover.
Okay, I'm confused then. It's a
Yeah,
different cover than I
you're
thought.
thinking of the one in 50.
Oh, okay.
Which again, another hard book to find. This one is he's standing. You can see his full body, and behind him is the Charger.
Oh yeah, that one's awesome.
Yeah, and it literally might be my favorite cover of all time.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
And man, that book is just crazy hard to find. And I'm just it's not again, it's a book that's not going anywhere in my collection. It's gonna stay
Well,
there.
oh, I was gonna say not going where isn't going up. I'm like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah, yeah.
they've rumored that he. Did you watch Ghost Rider and Agents of Shield, Robert
So
Reyes at
good,
all?
man. He did a great.
So,
I'm hoping they bring him back.
so I'm a big Agents of Shield fan, and
Oh
then when
yeah,
they
me
brought
too.
Ghost Rider in, I was like, okay, this could be really really bad. But I actually thought it was pretty sweet.
It was awesome, man. It was super super good. But I am curious, because even if it is a book that I don't have an intention of selling at any point, it is interesting to see because there's also, despite it being a hard book, there's not a lot of people also like looking for that book.
Right.
So if they do bring Robbie Reyes into the MCU, I will be curious what when there's more eyes actively searching for that book, what it's going to do to the value, because it's one of those books right now that is hard to price because it's like there's so few uh, you know sales that it's like it's a little confusing. I
I
have a
think I've
nine
seen that
four.
book in weird pricing. Raw,
Yeah,
raw. It's like you can find it for like $15, I think, and then you can also find it for like $200.
yeah,
I think you're right. I think people don't know what to do with, and I might not be thinking of that one. I still might be thinking of the one in 50. But yeah, people don't know what to do with it. You're right, 100%.
yeah. So and that's again all black cover, all black
Yeah,
back
those are
cover.
rough. Those are
It's
super
rough,
rough.
man. So I'm happy. I've seen when I bought that at a 9.4. At the time, it was the highest grade I'd ever seen, and then since then, I've seen 196 and 198. And I mean that's crazy, man. It's
I know
but
those cover. Yeah, some of those covers, and not to bash on Marvel, but their paper's so terrible, and then you put the black on that
yeah,
terrible paper, and it's just like there's no chance. There's no chance it's gonna hold. 90% of them are gonna get wrecked,
yeah,
which that's what happens. I suppose that's good if you're a collector, maybe, and you have the best ones. I don't know.
maybe. But I think we're gonna wrap it up now. I feel like we've adequately rambled. Definitely go check out Sleepyn Comics. Like I said, if you don't have any interest in NFTs, you could at least go back and watch his older videos. And like I said, he's got some just absolute monster books that it's always super fun to watch and look at and dream. Maybe one day you'll get them too. But if you do have any interest, even like I said, me myself, I don't think I'm going to get into them anytime soon. But it is good to learn about them and just to see what's going on. So he's got a lot of useful information on there, and this ever evolving new market.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. This is great. We gotta do it again.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I'll definitely will love to have you on. Or I don't know if I can go on there and talk nonsense about NFTs. I don't I don't know what's going on. Help me out. But anyway, thank you so much for stopping by the channel, and we will see you next time.